read from two different collections, and the first one is earlier poems, and the other is the poems I'm currently working on. This first poem has a little something to do with this particular cafe spot. Winter Ceremony. Above ground he walked, surrounded by the colossal machinery, rusted barbed wire, piled cement, and tin graffiti walls of the lonely industrial complex. Toward a low-lit cafe in an alley where a girl with thick hips, those tasty lips, and an orthodontist smile could make him a meal and keep him company once the sun went down over the skyscraping projects. Against the wall he leaned and looked up at the dull yellow light on the stainless wood ceiling of her windowless loft and counted the rings and cracks along the plies, patiently waiting until she danced and dripped her wet tongue around his belly button and reached her smooth hand over hard corduroy to slowly cool his hair. Out of the soft rain. Out of the soft rain, he walked into sweet paradise and took his usual seat along the black leather bench that lined the picture window. In stepped old boots who came right up to him, so he turned to hide his blushed cheeks and silly smile from her deep blue eyes. On the sidewalk, he staggered like Chaplin, waving a cigarette at the curious Frenchman until she called him over to be saved. Back at the bar, she continued to stare, but he let model poses, Oscar awards, and cinema blowjobs strangle his confidence. $3 Chuck. Under the harsh track lighting, Gretchen drunkenly praised Chuck Berry and Walt Disney, insisting, "You know, the thing is," with such a pathetic confidence. Lenny hid his disgust below a smile, appalled by her sloppiness. The clatter of silver and gold around her jelly neck made his entrails twist. He panned the room to see young girls amused by this grotesque sight, so he walked over to the kitchen counter to pour some more cheap red wine. Pick me up. Crushed pink lines on a bathroom gyre, up, up, up. Sarah's tambourine hand shook like sex machine. "I just need to make art," Ryan insisted as he tilted his head back and inhaled. With his soggy limbs flapping around, his snaggletooth smile, Matthew twisted. In the restaurant out front, a ragtime band sang "Goodnight Irene," a real nostalgia. Black blind piano player in a starch white shirt and blue denim overalls. A lispy, bluesy Billie Holiday with black straw hair and a tinny washboard, and the odd man out tempting the cliche, a mustache Asian resonating in a leather jacket and feather hat. The wasted crew danced out onto the street in the mist below the red blinks of the Gothic bridge. Overalls, Adderall, overalls, Adderall. Friday's complications. The air exploded. Joey Rubber wrapped his nose around Ginger's neck. His eyes blinked as her printed stockings oscillated. His lips licked thoughts of flesh, success. "Don't kiss me," the girl squirmed with delight. Joey dropped to his knees like rhythm and blues, just for fun, just to say he tried, then skipped out into the cold orange light. The taxi cab, cold leather, la la la. Back home, the phone rang. Ginger explained, "It's a sticky situation, Sugar Plum." Joey laughed at the ceiling, bit the spoiled fruit, and turned off the lamp to dance beneath the sheets. So the following are from a collection, a narrative collection that I'm working on now. It's kind of the same character throughout every poem. Dream. At the center of the labyrinth he sat with his furies, moral swords flown into the flames. Above wall after wall he could hear the beltway's ensuing hum. Still the drum of lackluster thought beat, many moons to history. Scratched at the gigantic murmur, then shadows of a child on the beach at dawn. As the waves came up, he turned away. Trailed. And though the snow came down stiff and wet, he tore off his glove to scratch at the boiling blood beneath his skin. Still chased by the chimera chained to a flower, he turned up an alleyway, echoing his unforgiven number. A masquerade of children barked, he barked back, peering into passing bars filled with fawning fellows and no sign of charity. The monster quickened her step. He dove through the turnstile of the theater, the marquee read, "Hideout." Touched. A monotonous rhythm clawed among the stew of savages. Between the bottles and the mirror, he looked for an ending to his carnal chase, then fell down examining his trail in the flicker of a candle. The barmaid placed her warm hand on his. He met her cool blue eyes framed in black straw strands, and continued to gawk at her tattooed sleeves. "Do you need anything?" An eagle down her arm, true love across her fingers. He answered yes. Funeral. Dressed up like a sailor and begging for flesh, he soaked up the burly skin banging against his wool coat. Quickly, he grew tired of the callous gesture. When the mob soon erupted, he skipped out into purple moonlight and followed a procession of black down the hill. A heavy bell sounded through soft December snow. Crows clustered in the bare branches that lined the pathway. The cortege stopped amid scattered stones. He slid behind a statue, peeking out to watch. A foggy hymn commenced. The bell rang. Reunion. After the donor's feast and the auld lang syne were forgotten, he flew to the bayside cabin of his forebears. No duty, except to unbutton and be mollycoddled by the women he so did once adore. They fed him the freshest of foods and the finest of wines until he fell happily asleep in a pool of silk pillows. How he was once a prince. In the morning, he told tales of his reckless follies, rousing the girls before they skipped off to school. Alone with the old women, they rekindled their lost light. A week passed, the trees began to frown, and the mosquitoes continued to bake on the slope. The mother rubbed his back, and the youngest clung crying to his waist outside the station. "I miss you already," she said, but his token course had to go on. Feast. At some other fool's expense, he feasted on fried steak and brandy, dancing through the square, full of grease and dreams, stirring the schoolgirls with his morbid grin and feral gaze. He took one by the hand and twirled her like an Egyptian princess as the fiddler sewed and rock gut flowed beneath the starless sky. Soon she slid, whirling him back into lonesome song. Dangling on her sweet laughter, he swerved, refusing to be cast aside. The kind Cretan stared jealously at their dying shadows down the road. Blush. Somewhere near Bastille in early Blush. Somewhere near Bastille, in early morning's glow, he followed two brown angels up the cold ladder of the scaffolding. They sat quietly guzzling beers to the low hum of a love supreme, contemplating the shuttered windows and trees that line the cemetery hill. The angels began to whisper and giggle, so he stood and stretched back along the gambrel. Beyond the city's edge emerged a rosy light. In the dusty warmth of the bedroom below, more whispers and giggles. Moments missing. Had he disappeared across the ocean without notice or farewell, would a warm welcome then await his safe return? The city below, and the fettered dreams of others cast little light, so full of gut and gripe that it pained him to reckon the dead year. His gambit blazed the heart of the mother forlorn. Near dusk he trod the forest with hands gripped to empty pockets, whistling a crude tune to the heckling blackbird. At the face of a field he yelled out, then ran fiery beneath a caligram of stars. In dry autumn's dawn, he woke to a grievous angel intending to pull a string. Cold wind kissed his forehead, sun thawed his limbs, still no sign. Thank you.